B, towards the bottom of the page. We were talking about the bracha on Sukkah, the bracha that we say every day for the mitzvah of Sukkah, and the bracha that we say every day for the lulav. And it's not, even though we know we do every day we say a bracha when we take the lulav. We know we say a bracha every day that we take every day that we sit in the sukkah. And not only we could say the bracha multiple times in a day. We could go to a sukkah in the morning, and then we could go to a different sukkah in the afternoon. We left this first sukkah, we go to another sukkah, we say another bracha on the next sukkah. And the Gemara, that's what we do in practice. But we found in the Gemara that there's a major discussion, major disagreement among the rabbis, whether you will say a bracha every day in the sukkah, or would you say one bracha the first day in the sukkah, and that will carry you throughout the holiday of Sukkot. Good morning. There's a minyan upstairs at 6:30 and 7:30, and we have a class down here now. So whatever you want to decide to do. The 6:30, 7:30, and 8. So that's the Gemara's discussion. The fact that Sukkah is one mitzvah is continuous. Throughout the holiday of Sukkot, you have a continuous mitzvah of being in the Sukkah. So the fact that the mitzvah is continuous, would that make it that even though you went to sleep at night in the Sukkah, but that there was a mitzvah to sleep in the Sukkah at night, so would that obligate you to? Would you say you only say one bracha on the Sukkah, and would that carry you throughout the whole Sukkot? And the other opinion, and regarding lulav, so one opinion says that you only say one bracha on the sukkah, and that carries you all the way through the holiday of Sukkot. Regarding lulav, there's an opinion that says every day, since the night, there's no mitzvah of lulav at night, you have to say a new bracha every day on the lulav. There's another opinion that says that lulav, the first day is a mitzvah min Torah, as we said. The first day, the Torah says, is a mitzvah to take the lulav wherever you are in the world. There's a mitzvah to take a lulav. On the second day of Sukkot, from the second day, from 2nd through 7, is a rabbinic law outside the Mikdash to take a lulav to remember what they did in the Mikdash. So it's a rabbinic mitzvah. Because the rabbinic mitzvah, there's an opinion that says that the rabbi said that, you know what, you made a bracha on the mitzvah the first day, that's good enough. You don't have to make a bracha on the second day of Sukkot for the lulav, the third day of Sukkot. That's the opinion, another opinion. So we have different opinions in the Gemara. So we have 3 different opinions in the Gemara. What are the 3 opinions in the Gemara? One opinion is the halacha that we do. Every day of Sukkot, you got to make a bracha on the lulav, and every day you have to say a bracha on the sukkah. And we know if we leave the sukkah on the same day, we will have to. And we left the sukkah. We finished eating, we left, we stepped out, and now we want to have a new meal later on. We make a new bracha. So we, at the end of the day, that's the end of the day. We know it, but that's from our Gemara. So we say a bracha every day of Sukkot, every day, both by the lulav, by the sukkah. And there's the 2 other opinions are you say one bracha for lulav that carries you for the whole Sukkot, but that opinion says, but when it comes to sukkah, you have to say a bracha every day because sukkah is daraita. There's another opinion that says no, sukkah the mitzvah is continuous. You make one bracha that covers you through the whole holiday. For lulav, which is the separation between the night and the day, so you have to make a separate bracha every day. You have 3 different opinions regarding the proper blessings regarding lulav every day, sukkah every day. Yes, Ariel. Very good. So let's say you know you're making hamotzi every day. You know you're making new hamotzi. Right. You left you make a new hamotzi every day. So the question is, one opinion says that even though you make a new hamotzi every day, you only say one bracha. It's an opinion in the Gemara. You don't have to say a bracha every time you say hamotzi. There's an opinion in the Gemara that says, as Ariel points out, when do we say the bracha on the sukkah? We have a bracha ta Hashem, basukkah. When do we say the bracha? When we say the bracha, when we do something, an act, and when we're doing an act, at least regarding eating, even though sleeping also technically requires a sukkah, but the act of eating, that's where the rabbi said that on that you will say a bracha. When you eat a meal, not just eating a snack, but eating a meal which requires a sukkah. There's certain eatings that don't require a sukkah. You want to have an orange, an apple, you want to have a salad, that doesn't require a sukkah. But hamotzi, when you have a meal more than an egg size of bread, that requires a sukkah. You can't have that outside the sukkah. And since that requires a sukkah, the rabbi said you have to say a bracha. So there's an opinion in the Gemara that says that bracha was only said the first day, period. The rest of the holiday, you did not say. You could have great meals of bread every day of the holiday. You would not say the bracha of hamotzi. You say hamotzi, but you would not say the bracha of leishev basukah. That clear? Max, is that clear? We say 2 times. And I would think that's when we left the sukkah, right? Meaning we finished our meal. Meaning we could look it up. But if you're in the sukkah the whole day, now you stay in the sukkah. I don't believe you would have to say a new bracha because you never really never separated. But in the same day, the way it's common what we do, you'll have lunch in the sukkah, and then you come back for supper in the sukkah, and you're not in the sukkah the whole time. You finish your lunch, you're in a different mindset. You're out of the sukkah. And now you come back to the sukkah at night for dinner, and you had a motzi for lunch. You had a motzi for dinner. You say another leishev sukkah, right? But there's an opinion in the Gemara that says no. You will not do that. You would just say that one bracha you said the first night of Sukkot. You say kiddush, say leishev sukkah, and that's it. Even though you went to the synagogue in the morning, you got up in the morning. You didn't stay in the sukkah the whole time. You went to the synagogue in the morning. You might have slept in the sukkah the first night of Sukkot. You went to the synagogue in the morning. Now you come back home for lunch. You will not say leishev sukkah according to this opinion of the Gemara. We all know we do say bracha. But that is the discussion here in the Gemara. Yes. Very good. So the obligation of Sudah every day, you see, there's Chol Hamoed, and then there's the Yom Tov day itself. The obligation of Sudah that we have on Yom Tov, we have a mitzvah to have a Sudah on Yom Tov. That's why we have bread on the daytime and in the nighttime. But technically, if you want to get a little technical, to fulfill the mitzvah of Sudah of Yom Tov, technically a kezayit should be enough. A kezayit of bread technically does not need a sukkah. How much of bread needs a sukkah? The size of an egg, a little bit of an egg or a little over an egg. Because the size of the kezayit, an olive size, is a small amount of sukkah, a small amount. It's called more of a temp, but that's enough technically that you should be able to fulfill your responsibility of having a meal on Yom Tov, of having bread on Yom Tov. So the obligation, so technically you have to have a meal on Yom Tov. But the obligation to have a meal the size of an egg, or more than an egg, that you have to be eaten an amount that you must find yourself in a sukkah, is the first night of Sukkot. That's where you have to find yourself in a sukkah. But obviously, we we go ahead and we eat. We'll have a nice big meal on Sukkot day, and we're supposed to be eating that. We have bread, and usually we have more than an egg size, more than right. Therefore, we have to have it in the sukkah. And anyways, it's a mitzvah. Good morning, Simon. To spend your time in the sukkah. Oh, it's not very good. So Chalamoid, very good. Chalamoid, we're gonna have Chalamoid Pesach coming up, the intermediate days, and they have Chalamoid Sukkot. There is no obligation for you to have bread on Chalamoid. There's no special mitzvah to have obligation to have bread. There is a mitzvah. There's a mitzvah called Simchat Yom Tov, to rejoice on Yom Tov, which applies not only on the first day of the holiday and the first 2 days outside of Israel, we have Yom Tov, but in the intermediate days of the holiday, on Chol Hamoed, there's a mitzvah of Simcha. So because of the mitzvah morning of Simcha, so you could fulfill and there's also, the mitzvah is to respect the Chol Hamoed. You have to show respect to the intermediate days. So how do you show respect intermediate days? So some people show the respect by having, you have a nice meal with, some people will wash at the meal, which is a level of simcha and making a whole thing out of it. Not everybody washes every day of Chol Hamoed. But it is definitely a nice thing to do. It's not the same level of washing on Yom Tov, but it's definitely a nice, honorable thing to do. But what you should definitely do is, I would say, is make sure you have a cup of wine every day of Chol Hamoed, because that's a very big way of celebrating, of simcha. So whether it's wine, whether it's bread, whether it's meat, the eating on Chol Hamoed, you should be careful. I try to have a cup of wine every day of Chol Hamoed. Because in honor of Chol Hamoed, to show respect to Chol Hamoed, everyone has to be aware that you're supposed to honor Chol Hamoed also the way you dress. It means you should not be wearing your weekday clothing on Chol Hamoed. What do I mean to say? It should be at least one notch up. Meaning you don't have to wear your Shabbat clothing. You don't have to wear your Yom Tov clothing on Chol Hamoed. But a person should not be walking around in his regular, ordinary weekday work clothing. You should, there's something called dressing up a little bit. You're not, there's levels. As long as you're showing the respect for the, right, David? They're showing respect for the Chol Hamoed. Max, you hear the idea? Because it's a special, it's intermediate. You don't wear the Sfardim, the Hasidim. They don't wear tefillin on Chol Hamoed. It's doesn't mean Ashkenazim have a split whether they wear tefillin or Chol Hamoed or not. But you could see from that point how special the day is, and therefore you have to honor it with eating, drinking, clothing, proper. That's a sign of simcha. What? And Torah. Oh, very good. Exactly. And Torah, of course, Torah makes a person happy, and Torah is these days are supposed to be days of Torah study. Exactly. Okay. Now, the Gemara, now up to the last word on the line on the page of 45b. In the art scroll, it's 45b5. The last word on the line is Meitive. We're going to ask you a following question. They're going to ask from the following Braita on some of the things that we just spoke about. Simon, you have a Gemara? Okay. Succah? Here we go. Welcome. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we're on Meitive. I'll ask you the following challenge. We're now on 46a, 1. If you went ahead and you make a lulav for yourself, right? You made a lulav for yourself. What does it mean you made a lulav? Well, 46a1. What does it mean you made a lulav for yourself, Mr. Haber? It means you went ahead and you tied your hadassim, naravot together. You got yourself active. And Rashi says, when did you do it? Because tying, you can't tie on Yom Tov. You tied it Erev Yom Tov. So it's Erev Yom Tov, and you made a lulav. So what do you say? Omer Baruch Shechiana v'Kimana v'Giona Lazman Hazeh. What do you say? What do you do? Say a Shechiana. You say a Shechiana on this great occasion that this time period has come. The holiday has come. The holiday is coming tomorrow. When you're already preparing now, Erev Yom Tov for the holiday. So you say, Shechianu v'kimanu v'giyanu l'zman hazeh. So this opinion, this is not, we don't do this in practice. We don't say Shechianu when we make the lulav Erev Yom Tov. We do it in the shul as Ralph says. We say the Shechianu when before we take the lulav, we turn over, we don't take the etrog the proper fashion, we take it upside down. We say the brachot on the etrog. Then we say the shechianu, and then we turn over the etrog, and then we have a mind to fill the mitzvah, and we shake the lulav. After to take the lulav, meaning after the bracha of the lulav comes the shechianu, unless the Sephardi Siddur says something different than that. But that's the way it's done. But the Gemara states that really you could really originally they would say the Shechianu even before the holiday. They would say the Shechianu Erev Yom Tov. If let's say, good morning, Michael. Good morning. If we're on Mem Vav Amud Aleph 46a. If let's say the holiday of Sukkot would begin tonight, right? And this afternoon, what are you doing in the afternoon before Sukkot? You're tying your lulav together. You tie that Avod Hadasim. So if tonight is the holiday, the Gemara says, what do you do today? Technically, you can say Shechianu today. Shechianu on the time, even though it's not the holiday. But I could say Shechianu. That it's a bracha of thanks to Hashem. It's called a brakat ha'da'ah. The different types of brachot that we have. We have a bracha called the brachat ha'mitzvah, a bracha on the mitzvah, which is the bracha of netilat lulav. So that bracha, that you have to wait till tomorrow when there's the actual mitzvah. That's when you'll say the bracha on the taking of, that Hashem commanded you to take the lulav. Hashem only commanded us to take the lulav on the holiday of Sukkot itself. But the idea of the time, being excited and happy and appreciative for this time period, and you already tied the lulav together, that in itself, you could technically say it already on Erev Yom Tov, the day before Yom Tov. Now, I see over here that there is a discussion, how much before Yom Tov would you be able to say the Shechianu? Would you get, would you get a week before the Yom, if let's say you're preparing it a week before the Yom Tov? Rashi's language is Erev Yom Tov. From Rashi, it seems the only right to say the Shechianu before the holiday would not be, within any 30 days before the holiday. Rather, it has to be Erev Yom Tov. That's what it seems from the language of the Rashi. In the Shulchan Aruch, Taf Reish Nun Aleph, what does he say in the Shulchan Aruch? He says, the Taf Reish Nun Aleph Sif Hey. Yeah, he says we say the bracha Shechianu, we say Tilas Lulav Shechianu. So we don't say it, earlier Erev Yom Tov, as we know. We do it right when we're about to we're taking the lulav. We take it with the etrog upside down, and we say those two brachot. Now the Gemara continues. Not lulat seitbo. You took the etrog. Now it's the following day. No more Erev Yom Tov. It's the following day, and now you're taking the etrog to fulfill your mitzvah. Now it's the 15th day of Tishrei. So now, what do? Omer, you say the bracha, Baruch Hashem, Elokeinu B'chol Ma'aseh, Kiddushaну Mitzvotav. You've made us holy with your mitzvot. V'shivanu al netilat lulav. That's what you do. And then the Gemara continues. Afal pi, the brighter. Afal pi shebirach alav yom mishon. Even though you made a bracha on the lulav on the first day of the holiday, and even though the subsequent days, day 2, day 3, day 4, till through 7 are rabbinic, outside the mikdash, to remember that they took the lulav all 7 days of the mikdash, even though it's rabbinic, chozeh muvarech kol shiva. So it says clearly that you go ahead and you say the bracha all 7 days of the what? Of the holiday. Okay, that's the first point of the Braita. Now the Braita continues. Hoseh Sukkah la'atzmo. Now it's before Yom Tov, and you go ahead and you make a Sukkah. You go ahead and you build the Sukkah. Ariel builds a Sukkah before the Yom Tov. So what do you do? So the Gemara says similarly, you say, Baruch Shechiyana v'kimana v'giana lazman hazeh. You already say the bracha, you say to Hashem, you give thanks to Hashem. Thank you, God, that what? That I've come to this time period, that I'm going to be doing the mitzvah of Sukkah. Now, the chidush is that preparing the lulav for the mitzvah, preparing the sukkah for the mitzvah, even though it's not, the mitzvah is not here yet. Tomorrow is Yom Tov. Tonight is Yom Tov. But that's considered like beginning, that's like the beginning of the involvement of the mitzvah. And there's another chidush that even though you do not have an obligation technically to tie the hadassim and the ravot to the lulav, we hold in halacha that the tying of the hadassim and the aravot to the lulav is hidur mitzvah. Purpose is you're beautifying the mitzvah, but since it's all about the mitzvah, so that already gives you the allowance already to say the bracha she'achiyanu. Now, they point out, what about if you go ahead and you make a shofar? You go to the animal and you go ahead and you clean out the horn and you make a shofar, or you go ahead and you write a Megillah. You write a Megillah. Do you say the bracha she'achiyanu on writing a Megillah? Do you say a bracha she'achiyanu on going ahead and making a shofar? No. And the reason is because the one reason is because a Megillah or a shofar is not something that you need every so often. Meaning to say, once you make that shofar, it can last for years. A lulav doesn't last for years. A sukkah doesn't last for years. Sukkah you pick up, it's a temporary shelter. You put it up and you put it down. So those things are more shechiana v'kiminei lazman hazeh. It's a time type of thing. It comes from time to time. It's a mitzvah that comes from time to time. So therefore, that's something that you could say the bracha she'achiyanu. But something that maybe could last forever. I have a Megillah from my father. My father, Alav Shalom, got a Megillah from his rabbi. The Megillah is maybe 100 years old. Maybe it can last, what? Right, but right. That's true. But maybe, but it's something that people get every so often. It's common. People don't keep the same suit. It's a good point. Some, the old days people did keep the same suit for 5 years, but it's something to think about. It's a good point. You're asking Ralph, but it's not something like a shofar could last much more than that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't get worn out like a suit gets naturally worn down in that level, or a shofar or Megillah. So therefore, it's not something that comes from time to time. There's a kind of honor of Yom Tov. You get a new suit if you're able to afford a new suit. It's a nice thing to do in honor of Yom Tov. Right. It doesn't say that you make a bracha on the baking of the matzah she'achiyanu v'kimana v'gana lazman hazeh. Right. That's a good point. Also, why don't we make a she'achiyanu on making the matzah? Now, Now, so let's continue. And that's an idea, interesting idea. The Gemara says the following. I mean, also Tosos, maybe to address your point. What's your name? Nice to meet you, Mr. Safdie. Related to Daniel Safdie? Deal. So Tosos says is also the certain mitzvot. Tosos says not everything. You know, did they say they institute the bracha of Shechianu? And Tosos says we need to understand why there's some mitzvot that they instituted to say a bracha when you create the item, let's say Sukkah and Lulav, and let's say even making tzitzit, or even when you make tefillin. You know, we mentioned about a shofar, we mentioned about a Megillah, but again, tefillin could last for, similar to the shofar, maybe tzitzit also could last for a very long time. So, you know, maybe that's why you don't make a shechianu, perhaps. But Tosos comes up with a different approach. Tosos says that the near mitzvah sheishel of simcha, you know, a mitzvah that has simcha. So maybe that's a lot about, you know, the fact, certain level of simcha that you have, you know, and then you have to understand why is lulav. Lulav, we know, morning Nathan. Lulav is all the different. The Sefer Chinuch talks about, you know, the great simcha person has with the lulav, and also the special mitzvah v'samachta b'chagecha, you know, to rejoice on your holiday. Good morning, Mark.
Mark,
we're shedding some light on the question of there's certain mitzvot that we say they instituted to say a shechianu, and there's certain mitzvot that they say you do not, you know, you would not say a shechianu on the making of the item, the manufacturing of the item itself. You know, let's say we spoke about, and that you could technically the Gemara says you can make a shechianu already on the making of a lulav. When you go in and you tie the lulav together, you can make a shechianu on the making of a sukkah. The making of the sukkah, you didn't even go into the sukkah yet. You can already say a shechianu. And we said you don't make a shechianu on writing a Megillah, on making a shofar. They don't say you can make a shechianu, even though you're going to say a shechianu when you blow the shofar, right? You're going to blow the shofar. What do we do when we blow the shofar? Then there's a mitzvah to say shechianu right before you blow the shofar. But yet, when you make the shofar, you don't say shechianu. When it comes to lulav, we say you have a right to say shechianu already before the mitzvah even comes in. You can technically say shechianu. The Gemara says erev Yom Tov. If tonight is Yom Tov, this afternoon I'm preparing the lulav, I can make a shechianu already. We don't do that. We wait till tomorrow.
We don't do that.
Yeah. Right, but technically the Gemara says we can do that. And the
question. Great question.
What'd you say?
It's a great question.
Right, that's the issue at hand. Yes. Right. Circumcision, but you don't make a bracha on that preparation. What's the distinction? Right. So one idea, so then there's two different things that are happening as well. There's certain mitzvot that you will never. Then we have two different things that are going on. One, we have certain mitzvot that you will not say a shechianu on. Period. Right? You're not going to go in and say a shechianu on writing a Sefer Torah. It's a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah, right? You have a Achnasa Sefer Torah. No one's making a bracha shechianu at all on the mitzvah of, you have a mitzvah to make tzitzit, right? To wear tzitzit. There's no bracha shechianu. The shechianu that's made under a wedding at the chuppah, that's on the garment. It's not on the mitzvah. Meaning to say, Listen to this, everybody. Somebody gets married at night, and someone gets married by day. The guy who gets married by day, he's going to say 2 brachot on his new talit at the wedding. One bracha on the sateh b'tzitzit, and the second bracha she'achiyanu. The guy who gets married at night says 1 bracha, just she'achiyanu. He doesn't say the mitzvah l'sateh because there's no mitzvah tzitzit at night. According to, there are opinions that say that if you, a day garment, there is a mitzvah to say a bracha, I'm wearing it at night. But let's say, but there are opinions that there's no mitzvah. So you're not going to say a bracha on the talit, correct? On the bracha of the sateh b'tzitzit on the talit, Michael. And when your son gets married, Bez Hashem, if it's a night wedding at the right time, if it's a night wedding, he's going to say a she'achiyanu, but he's not. Because the she'achiyanu is going on the great new garment. It's not going on the tzitzit itself. They never instituted a bracha she'achiyanu on the tzitzit part of the thing. It's only on the.
It's like a suit. It's like wearing a new suit. You
like
say she'achiyanu.
Exactly, a new suit. You say she'achiyanu.
And if you arrive to shul late on Yom Kippur, we don't say the beracha for tzitzit.
Right, because it's too late. Because it's already too late. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. So right. So very good. So what Nathan is saying. So one of the answers that one of the commentaries say, something that comes from time to time, that requires a she'achiyanu. Lulav comes from time to time. But you go ahead, meaning, and you need, and it's something that you make from time to time. We said when you write a Megillah, you write a Sefer Torah, you write it once, you got it. You go ahead and you make a shofar, you got it. So therefore, we're not going to say a she'achiyanu on the making of that item. You see, you can make a she'achiyanu, the blowing of the shofar, that the actual blowing of the shofar, because that mitzvah comes from time to time. You can make a bracha on the blowing, but you're not going to make the bracha on the preparing the shofar. When you prepare the shofar, it's not enough. It's not enough to go ahead and make a bracha on that, on the actual preparation of the shofar. Being that the shofar itself, that item is going to remain for many years. That's how some explain. But there's
Rabbi, the Ben Ish Chai.
Yeah.
The Ben Ish Chai says that on when you're doing the search for chametz, he says you should wear a new garment and say she'achiyanu, but he says only if you wear a new garment.
Michael's touching on an interesting point. I want to share what Michael to address that issue. What maybe the Ben Ish Chai is trying to address. The question is, why don't we say she'achiyanu when you do the bedikat chametz? Right? It's a mitzvah that comes from time to time. Every year you have this mitzvah. When you take the matzah, right, and on Yom Tov. Okay, on Yom Tov, we don't say a bracha, we don't say she'achiyanu we say she'achiyanu on the Yom Tov. We don't say she'achiyanu on the matzah, right? We say she'achiyanu on the Yom Tov. But why don't we say she'achiyanu when we do the mitzvah of biur chametz? We do bedikat chametz. The rabbis instituted a mitzvah called bedikat chametz. The rabbis instituted a mitzvah called Hanukkah, lighting the candles. We say she'achiyanu when we light the candles of Hanukkah. We light it. The rabbi said when you read the Megillah, we say she'achiyanu. So why don't we say she'achiyanu when we do the mitzvah of biur chametz? So one answer is yes, Mark.
So of course we say it on the new suit and the new talit, but that doesn't fall into the category of from time to time or every year. It's not like once a year. That's one and done. That's one and done. So it's not like you make the suit and you say she'achiyanu. You make the lulav, you don't say she'achiyanu. The first time you wear it, you say it and you never say it again.
Right. But but technically the Gemara says you can say she'achiyanu when you make. The Gemara says even though in practice we don't do it, you can say she'achiyanu when you make the lulav erev Yom Tov. When you tie the hadassim and the aravot together, you can already say the she'achiyanu. So regarding biur chametz, so the commentaries ask that question. To avoid the question, Michael says, the Ben Ish Chai says, put on a new suit and say she'achiyanu, and I presume the Ben Ish Chai is addressing the issue and most probably try and have in mind that the Shechianu is also going on this mitzvah. That's what I'm speculating, Michael. The mitzvah of search for the chametz. So what? Right, correct. Because there's a question: do I need to make a shechianu on the holiday or not? Therefore, to avoid that, exactly, we do certain things to avoid the question.
So the woman, do they say shechianu in the nerot, or do they get the shechianu at the seder? That's another questionable thing.
Right, but regarding, so one answer is given. Biur chametz is to destroy chametz. Biur chametz, I'm making a bracha on removal of the chametz, the destruction of chametz. So we don't want to say a bracha on destroying things. That's an idea. That's given. They're going to ask the same question. You're going to get the same question when you start counting Sfirat to Omer, right, David? We're going to count the bracha. We're going to count Sfirat to Omer. We're going to start counting Sfirat to Omer the second night of Pesach, and we do not say a what? A Shechianu. So some want to say, why don't we say Shechianu on that mitzvah? It comes from year to year. So one answer also is given is that the mitzvah, the Torah connects the mitzvah of counting Sfirah to the Omer, bringing the Korban. And being that we do not have the Korban today, so therefore we're missing a lot, and some actually say that the mitzvah today is rabbinic, because the mitzvah min Torah is only when you have the korban. There's a difference of opinion in halacha. If counting sfirah today, the Torah says count the sfirah. The Torah says count from the time you bring the omer. So there's a question in halacha: is the counting of sfirah today a biblical mitzvah, or do we say no? The Torah is just giving you a reference when you're starting to count, but not that it's dependent on having the korban. But because we don't have the korban, at the end of the day, we don't have the korban. So some say the rabbis did not feel that you should go ahead and you should institute the bracha shechianu on the counting of the omer. If you notice, the custom is, what do you say after you count? We talk about the returning of the Beit HaMikdash. And the reason why we talk about the returning of the Beit HaMikdash, right? Each night, after counting the Omer, here we have the Sephardi Siddur, Magen Avraham. Each night after we count the Omer, you say Harachaman, V'yalzeh Avodat Beit HaMikdash, L'mkoma, V'mherav Yameinu. Right? Morning, everybody. Morning, Mark. You say, Hashem, you should go ahead, please, you should return the Beit HaMikdash to its place. Every mitzvah you do, you go ahead and after you do the mitzvah, do you say, Harachaman, he has a lot of Beit HaMikdash and Koma? No. So why are you going ahead? After you put on your tefillins, you say Haracham, after you finish, you go ahead and say Haracham, he has a lot of Beit HaMikdash Koma? No.
The Amidah, we have one. After the Amidah, we have a
After the Amidah, we have one, yes. Correct. Because the Amidah, very good, Michael. And then we can answer that as well. The Amidah, Michael points out, we say, we mentioned the Beit HaMikdash. After the Amidah, we say here that we say about the Beit HaMikdash. And the reason for that is, we say, Shetivne Beit HaMikdash, we say, if you say also Shalom Amrama, we have Shalom Aleinu, Shetivne Beit HaMikdash, why are we saying about the Beit HaMikdash after we finish the Amidah? Why are we saying at the Beit HaMikdash after we go ahead and we count Sfirah? Because there's a very big connection to the mitzvah of Sfirah and the Beit HaMikdash, and a very big connection to the davening, the Amidah, and the Beit HaMikdash. The Sfirah is obvious because the Sfirah to Omer, the Torah says, when you bring the Korban Omer, when you bring the offering, count the Sfirah. So therefore, we don't have the Beit HaMikdash, we don't have that offering, so it makes sense that we should pray for the Beit HaMikdash. The Amidah, the Shemona Esrei, is corresponding to the Korban. Hashem should accept our prayer. The morning prayer corresponds to the morning offering. The afternoon prayer, the afternoon offering. The night prayer corresponds to the fats and the other parts that were burnt in the Mizbeach. We don't have the altar, we don't have the Beit HaMikdash, but we have these Korbanot. So therefore, it makes sense that after we finish the Amidah, what do we say? Hashem, please give us back the Beit HaMikdash, that we should go ahead and be able to do the actual, yes. Right. So I would say, so again, the first day was in and out the Beit HaMikdash. So the first day was not dependent on the Beit HaMikdash. So now they second to 7. So why don't we? So that's a good question. Why don't we say they second day 7 on the lulav when we take the lulav? Since the taking of the lulav day 2 to day 7 is remembrance of the Beit HaMikdash. So why shouldn't we have some sort of? So it's definitely something to think about. Why don't we have harachaman on the day 2 to day 7? Tosfos also there's a very big disagreement between Tosfot and other opinions. Do you say the bracha shechianu at all on milah, on brit milah? You know the Sfardim say shechianu at a brit, on the mitzvah of brit milah. Ashkenazim do not say shechianu at a brit.
Because we're commanded. Because we're commanded.
So the question is, why don't we say a shechianu? So one answer that what I recall is given is because there's this pain of the child. Because of the pain of the child, we don't say shechianu. Similarly, the same idea, if there's something, there's a difficult, we don't have the Beit HaMikdash, the same idea, something's missing, it's not complete, we might not say shechianu, but obviously the other, what did you say? You wouldn't say it on anything. Right. But if the mitzvah, very good. But if the mitzvah is connected to the Beit HaMikdash, that's what I'm saying. A mitzvah that's directly connected to the Beit HaMikdash. So if we don't have it, we don't have it. Maybe we won't say it. Let's say Shvirat Omer. You're right, Mark. We don't have the Beit HaMikdash. We should technically shouldn't say any time. The answer is specifically a mitzvah where the Torah connects to the Beit HaMikdash. Maybe we won't say shechianu like Shvirat Omer, which connected specifically to the Mikdash. Tosfos emphasizes also a general rule that they instituted shechianu on things of things that are connected to simcha. We have to also identify certain mitzvot that have certain levels of simcha that would warrant already a shechianu, and certain mitzvot that might not have that level. So we have to think about that. I want to wish everyone a beautiful day.
Chodesh Tov, Rabbi.
Chodesh Tov, everybody.
Today's the last day of the year.
Yeah, today's the last day regarding the months of the year. Regarding today is the last day of the last month of the year, of the year itself, right?
No.
Right, Mike. And it's a very holy day tonight. Tonight's very holy. Rosh Chodesh Nisan, very holy. Thank you, Michael.
Chodesh
All
Tov,
your
Rabbi.
amazing comments. Thank you. All the best, everybody.
Thank you, honey. Got it. No.
Thank you so much, Simon.